can forget you. I want you next to me to say this here to right. Last night I've got the big one. A hurricane like you was it, my sweet amore. Rama 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 sing to get you, baby. Rama 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 sing to get somewhere. I try, but I can forget you. I want your lips on me, say this either alright. And I wait, another big boom. A hurricane like you say, my sweet amore. Rama 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 sing to get you, baby. Rama 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 sing to get somewhere. Forget you, I want you back someday. Last night I've got the big one. A hurricane like you was it, my sweet amore. Rama 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 sing to get you, baby. Rama 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 sing to get somewhere. Rama 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 sing to get you, baby. Rama 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 sing to get somewhere. 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 Somewhere.
That was loud. Sorry for anyone who listened to that and your ears are now bleeding. My name is John Kulas. I am a 20-year professor of industrial and organizational psychology. I'm a 10-year user of R for statistical applications, and for the last 6 or 7 years I've also been using R to author things like websites and technical reports and academic papers, and maybe we'll get more into this, but maybe even a book, not books, but a book. And so every Friday, and when I say we, it's me and some compatriots here, we get together and we talk about authoring projects that we're doing, and we try to help people with whatever it is that they're trying to author using R as an authoring platform. And so what we do every week is we'll go over what happened at the last session. And so the last session you see here on the right implicated, we closed out our exploration of Quarto dashboards, and we closed it out by incorporating some shiny elements within a dashboard. And so we'll revisit that, talk about what happened, how that went, and what the end product ended up looking like. And then we'll get into books today. So we'll see how Quarto books are constructed and authored, and then we'll go ahead and hopefully make some progress on the dissertation template. And the person who's most keenly interested, I'm guessing, in making progress on that template is here now. So let's bring him on board.
Vamos a ver, ¿qué es lo que pasa con los alcaldes? ¿Qué es lo que pasa con los alcaldes? ¿Qué es lo que sí, qué está pasando con los alcaldes?
Hey, what's up?
Diego, are you pumped to make some progress on the dissertation today?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I already been doing a lot.
I know you did. Yeah, I saw on Tuesday or Wednesday, I guess we're meeting now. It was looking pretty good. So let's get into what happened last week here before we get to books and before we get to the dissertation. My drops are getting so voluminous here that I'm actually having a hard time finding them. Oh my goodness, do we not have a transition? There it is.
Last time you remember, Boris Badenov had captured Rocky and set him adrift in a balloon. The balloon was struck by lightning and plummeted down toward the ocean thousands of feet below. As the balloon fell, the plucky squirrel managed to work his way out of the basket and, spreading his arms and legs, began to glide toward the distant shore miles away.
Boy, I hope I can stretch my glide that far.
Unfortunately, at that moment, Rocky was being picked up by the radar antennas of the Air Defense Headquarters.
General Broadbeam, sir, we've spotted a flying object headed straight for us.
What kind of object?
Well, sir, it appears to be a squirrel.
A what?
Yes, sir.
Probably a secret missile we don't know about. Well, we can't take chances. Shoot it down.
And within seconds, huge batteries of weapons were leveled at Rocky and commenced fire.
I want to know what happened. What happened?
Yeah, everyone has to tune in next week to see what happened, whether or not Rocky survived that military barrage. So what we did last week was we finished up dashboards and we introduced some shiny elements into the dashboard. And so I went ahead and hosted that. And I think what I'll do actually is I'll paste this into the comments. So if anyone else wants to play with it, they can. There's one, you should be able to take this and download it and run it on your local computer. There's a link here to the repository where this script is, and that's the repository that we use for this live stream. Probably what I should do is I should take this temp.qmd file, which is where we generated the script that makes the Shiny app. I should have a direct link to that, and I'll probably do that once we get off of this live stream. I actually thought of that this morning, adding that direct link so everyone that is interested can download that script. But there's sometimes an issue with hosting these things, and so I didn't want to blow up the hosting this morning right before the session, so I didn't update that hyperlink. You can still find the temp file. There's one dependency, I guess, that might hang up with you trying to run this locally, and that dependency is this silliness up here in terms of the GitHub symbol, the little cat. I guess, Diego, you call it a cat, right? Is it you that thinks that's a cat?
Oh, yeah.
So the cat symbol is generated by using a package that isn't, I don't think it's available on CRAN. So that's the way that people normally access packages in R. We take some of our packages from GitHub. We use GitHub a lot. And so you probably need that package. So when I go ahead and update this in terms of links, I will also, I'll also put probably an install command in that script so people can go ahead and install, and maybe I'll look for it. I'll look for it here, and as long as we have one link in there, we should be able to put another one. And here it is, font awesome. And so Diego, actually, do you wanna take this and make a dev tools /install _ GitHub on that for people, so they can go ahead and run that in the console before they generate this script. We have another panelist here. Let's go ahead and bring her on board.
Chat. E agora? Como é que carrega celular? Não grita comigo. Não grita comigo. Olha, cara. Ô, bicudo. Escuta só. Eu não vou falar mais.
I forgot that was my intro video now.
Well, yeah. If you really don't like it, we can change it. But it's so consistent with. Okay. I love it at the end where she gives up and the bird just kind of keeps going and gives her that little willy 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 willy. Katrina. So what I did was I changed a little bit from what we had worked on last week, and we all kind of worked on these dashboards and making shiny elements. one change, I guess, is I got the URL to load in terms of the icon, so you see the little pink
Nice.
panther here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We were
and then
working on that last week, I remember.
yep. And then I put these side by side too, so it's a little easier to see them and see what the difference is between a Plotly object and a shiny, fully interactive shiny object. Okay. So anyone that wants to can go on and grab that. The other thing I wanted to note in terms of the syntax, so there's a link to the syntax there, but one of the questions I had when we were crafting this dashboard and incorporating the shiny element is, why does this shiny script look different than what we used to see with shiny scripts? And in particular, there were always two components that you had to create to get a shiny app to work, and one was called UI and the other is called server. And we don't have that anymore, at least when incorporating shiny elements within the dashboard specification. And so what we have instead are we have these context elements, or context, we used to, what do we call those things? I'm not even sure what they're called. For example, echo and warning and message and label and fig cap, all of those chunk specifications, I guess I'm going to call them. I'm not sure if that's technically correct or not, but the chunk specifications that we need in order to mirror those old UI and server requirements are in the chunk itself. And so the context is what we need here. And so context server in particular, this replaces, and this is me probably speaking a little out of turn, this is how I'm interpreting it, but context server replaces that old server script that we used to use if you're just developing a shiny app in and of itself, not within the dashboard, product, but just a shiny app standalone. And so it's a little different. I actually like it. It seems a little more streamlined to me. But what you used to put in the server, either object, so you can create a server object, or you can have an entirely different script, a server.r script. So what used to go there now just goes in a chunk that has that chunk specification of context, and context here is going to call out the server element. And so behind the scenes, this seems to have some impact with regard to when that element is activated. And so all of this stuff, I think, mostly is there for computing efficiency. So trying to make things not have as much computing power, or not need as much computing power if it's not genuinely needed. And then so today, I'm glad.
Sorry, what was the GitHub account and repository for the?
Oh, gotcha. I put it in the chat. It's font. It says Fort Awesome. That doesn't look right. I don't remember. I don't remember it being that. Maybe, do you want to try it first, Diego, before you post it? Just copy that.
Yeah.
Fort Awesome. I don't know. Maybe that's some sort of virus that people are going to get.
Yeah, it's telling me I can't spell it correctly. I guess it's font.
That's weird. I thought I just copied it directly from GitHub. Let's do a quick search here, actually. So,
font.
See if we can find it.
I just realized every time I've sent a chat, I've only sent it apparently to Dr. Kulas, not just throwing it in the comments like I thought I was doing.
Yeah, this is our 16th or 17th session, and I'm only now starting to kind of understand the layout of everything, and it's not everything is labeled all that well. It does say Fort Awesome. I guess that is the repo. I don't know if there's another. Pretty sure that's it.
Dr. Kulas, when you said we were trying to figure out what echo was, my first thought was is that also, is that onomatopoeia? And then I got, like, my brain just went on a whole side tangent of onomatopoeia words.
What is onomatopoeia? I know that's a.
Um, it's a word that, like, phonetically, like, imitates, like, the sound it describes.
Ah, cool. Okay.
So I don't know
Like,
if onomatopoeia quite fits. It's just where my mind went.
gotcha. Like ping.
Like, yeah, like ping, bam, womp. Any of those words.
Any of those made up words. Okay. I
No,
gotcha.
I think womp's a word.
Okay. Well, if you're a Star Wars fan, Womp is part of a big Yeti-looking thing that gets its arm chopped off. I'm glad you're here, Katrina, because I kind of alluded to this a little bit, but we're going to cover books today, and hopefully, if things work out for you and I will be authoring a book, and we'll be using Quarto to do that. There's a hyperlink in here. You can see what some of these books that have used Quarto to author look like, and there's a certain degree of customization that you can do on here, colors and fonts and layouts and things like that. Generally speaking, the people that provide us these platforms, they usually have a caution. They usually express some degree of caution with overusing all of the goop that they have created, and they say just keep it simple. Simpler is better. And so the default specification, I think, is actually used here by Hadley and some co-authors, and it looks just fine. And I'm sure operationally it's great as well. This one you'll see looks quite similar. It looks like they have the capability. Well, we know we can do this in Quarto. We know we can put stuff in the margins, but they have a scrollable margin here. I'm not sure if that's default or if it's something that they scripted.
I think that's default for it to be scrollable, but the different options that show up there, like you just have to include them. But so I started on like a little draft, trying to like create like an example for our table of contents yesterday. So I was planning on sending them that plus like either this one or the R for data analysis book, just so they get like a completed copy example, or as well as our very rudimentary like copy of the table of contents.
Yeah, I think I was thinking today we could work on that.
Sure.
But I'd like to show people how to start from scratch as well. So maybe Diego, do you want to share screen, Diego, and see if we can start? And Diego has a book too. So I sorry, Diego, if I outed you. Are you willing to talk about that at all? Or not quite yet?
Not really. It's gonna look silly compared to 2 units of this.
Okay, but yeah, Diego's a Renaissance man. He's a new father. He's getting his PhD. He's writing the next great American novel.
I know, like Diego. I think Diego, like between him and Danny, they do everything.
Yeah, it's actually a little bit of puts pressure on the rest of us.
I know, like Danny paints.
Oh, really? I haven't ever seen any of her stuff. I don't think so. I would like to
check it out.
Yeah, now it gives me something to do next week.
Yeah, she likes painting. It's digital. She makes digital drawings, and she also does painting, and she does stuff with candles.
Well, that's neat. I'm gonna next week when we have our off session meeting, Diego. I'm gonna ask to see some of that stuff probably. And then we'll get back to the dissertation template, and we'll see the progress that Diego's made in the front matter stuff, and then we're still trying to figure out exactly how to best communicate between the class specifications that we write and the RMD, where typically authoring takes place. So this is where we write the content and do the code, and but the class file should be something that we're able to specify some level of control over the format, and we haven't quite figured out yet how how to communicate best between those two types of file. I'm swapping out Far Side comics every week. This one I stumbled across, and I'm just pulling ones that I can find online. But I was very happy to see this one because this one for years was one of the comics that was posted on my office door when I was a young professor. So it was up there for probably 15 years sitting on my office door. So if there's any former students who are watching this, you might, I may have just given you PTSD by seeing that sign. Like, oh my God, I'm about to see Kulas get yelled at. Okay, cool. So let me stop sharing here if I can find my button. And then we'll go ahead and let Diego, you're going to walk us through how to do a book?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Doctor Strange.
Here's the DevTools thing problem that it was giving me.
Oh, couldn't connect? Okay. Yeah, that's okay. I'll do some looking offline. I'm not guessing. It looks like there's just a couple of people here. It's probably my brother and his friends. So I'm guessing there's nobody that's going to try to run that script.
I need permissions for that repo? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's not. Well, no, it's got to be public because we saw it. That's okay. I'll go ahead and take a look after the stream, and then I'll find the proper repo, and I'll put the command in the script itself. I'll put the command in so people don't have to go ahead and do this. It'll just do it automatically when you run the script. Diego, can you walk us through maybe just the menus of creating a new project, and then in that project we'll just do the default Quarto book as a template?
Sure. This is the thing I talked to you about, to create a template for the dissertation for MSU. So this is just LaTeX code, and when we render it, it looks like this. This might look familiar.
Ooh,
might give you PTSD.
It does a little bit. just a little bit.
You had to do this on Word, I guess?
Yeah. The formatting of the signature page haunts me to this day.
Signature, there's one, yeah. I'm more worried about the table of content right now, because I don't know. But
that I had Word do for me. That was fine. It was the signature page. That was the worst.
Yeah, we'll have R auto-populate the content of the table of contents, but again, it's the format that we're trying to specify through LaTeX. And so that's Diego, in addition to being married to an artist and getting his PhD and all these Renaissance things, he's also becoming a master of LaTeX.
I used Quarto book when I did mine.
Did you?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
It had some cool. It had some cool like features that popped up with it. Like it had a references page already and stuff.
Diego, you want to walk us through what you're doing? Just talk through what you're doing there.
Yeah. So you go here to File, New Project. And then just like you create a new project in R, new directory, and then you go down. Instead of hitting New Project, you hit Quarto Book. If you want to create a Quarto book, you name it whatever you want. Book, template, just create project.
So I watched a video yesterday on this to like walk me through the like pages that it starts with, so I can help with that if needed.
Cool. Yeah, you guys go ahead and walk us all through it.
Yeah, so the index is just like the preface, but then if you go to the next page that it automatically opens up, this is where you can edit the basic info about the book as well as the chapters that will appear on the left-hand side. And you can create, and all those documents were automatically created, including like references, things like that. So the references one is pretty cool. If you open that. Oh, wait, no, the other one. References bib. References.bib. Above it. No, wait.
Oh.
Two up. There you go. That one. So you could put the references in this way, and then you can automatically call them out. So for this one, it would be Kunth84 is what you would put in, and it would automatically put in the APA citation for you with a hyperlink. And then when you like scroll over, it gives a little preview too. So that's neat. Yeah, and so you can just add pages from here, which is basically what I did. I added like one page per section, and then I separated that section out into the different chapters, and then the headers in those chapters, and that was it.
Cool. Yeah. And usually you can knit those chapters individually, and then on the upper right-hand section, there should be a build tab, or there used to be anyway. There's not a build tab anymore?
I don't remember one. I just rendered it.
Oh, this one?
There you go. And
okay, yeah.
And so you can do this in a console, or if you're not using RStudio, or if you, that's kind of the traditional way to do it across different IDEs. So VS Code, or VS Code's becoming more popular. That's the one that's in my head right now. Jupyter Notebooks people could use, I suppose. But if you're in RStudio, that build tab and that build button are helpful. So it should pull all those different chapters together. It should have a table of contents. It should have that config YAML file is kind of like, it's your YAML that we would normally have within a single document. But because we have the way it's organized, it has different files for different chapters. That YAML is actually pulling everything together. What did you render that as a PDF, Diego?
Yep.
Okay. Can you?
That's cool.
It does look cool. Can you render it as a HTML as well? Maybe we'll put some. We don't need to.
On the index. Here, the index.
Yeah, that's where I've been rendering, right there, and then just opening it.
I don't know why it takes so long. My book doesn't take this long and has much.
And you probably have more stuff in your book. I saw pictures in your book.
It does take a second. I'm not sure why.
Maybe and that's the HTML. Neat.
Yeah.
Let's do a couple of things here. Let's maybe add a chapter and see how that's done, so you guys can walk through that. And then
sure.
I might look for some customized options here while you guys do that, and then we could add that. We'll probably put a Plotly object in there just to see what that looks like. So I'm going to look for some code.
You got to put appendix.qmd.
Oh yeah, and I have to create.
And then you have to make a new page, yeah. So you'd go to File, and then you want to make a Quarto document, and then you're just name it appendix.qmd. This title though is going to just show up at the top. You're still going to have to.
Yeah, then I have to change it.
Yeah, that's just going to show up there, and then yeah.
And now it's when I.
You know, one thing I want to try before we close this out is, have we tried? So we did cross references on one of these live streams, but I'm curious if the cross references are going to work across chapters. They should, right? But so if we do a code chunk, let's say in chapter 1, and give that label, so we say figure 1, look at the nice pretty figure, and then we go to chapter 2 and say, hey, remember figure 1? Go take a look at it. And remember that preview on hover, Katrina? I remember you and I were looking at it, we're like, oh, that's so cool. I wonder if that still works. So
I mean, it did for the references that I included.
Okay. It did the hover preview on hover too?
Yeah, so if you go to where the references, I think it's in the intro, Diego. There is a reference already included in it. Yeah, just give it a sec, it's gonna render. Yeah, so hover over the Kunth reference.
Where is it?
Oh, you just clicked render again. There you go. Kunth right there. Nope, go back to the right. It's above the 2 plus 2. It's above the 1 plus 1. I mean, yeah, that. There you go. And then it'll bring you to the references page if you click on it. But when you hover over, it just shows you the reference.
Nice.
I'm gonna put a little command, a little script, a little Plotly script in the chat, and I don't know if there's a better way. I don't know if there's a better way to do this. I think it looks like that took all of it. I'll put it in the private chat too, Diego, just in case it's easier for you to grab one rather than the other. But I think we should create a figure in one of those chapters. So just put in a code chunk, or you can use. It looks like we already have one there, the 1 plus 1.
Yeah, it gives you that automatically as like an example.
And then let's see what else. Maybe let's put a picture on there on the title page. So Diego, while you go ahead and take what's in the chat and put that in a code chunk, I'm gonna look for how we put a picture on there, an image, and then you guys can find one. That'll be fun. I always look for images, and they always end up being cartoons or cats. You guys can come up with something more creative.
We can put here the URL, or just browse and get the one that comes here by default. Where is it? This one, cover, and you just put it there, and there you go. You have it there. The image. Now we render.
Okay. I think there's a way to get one on the cover page too, and because those cover pages are specially formatted. So let me look for that. Boy, there's all kinds of customization you can do. This is neat.
I was looking at something, Diego. Did you put that in the same way you would in Markdown?
Markdown.
Yeah, if you look at the
Can
source.
I see the source? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Cool. We could call it something then. What do you want to call it? You just throw it in the square brackets.
Yeah, Katrina and I were talking about this for our hopeful book. That's a really convenient way to make these things more accessible, and so screen readers in particular are going to pick that up. So I'm trying to get better when I author things using that old Markdown convention: exclamation point, square brackets, normal parentheses. I got in the bad habit, and I think a lot of people probably did, is just leaving those square brackets empty. But if we just populate them with a little description, that's going to make screen readers more effective. So, Diego, I think in the config YAML file, if you go there, it's a subcommand under book. So at the same level of your title, author, and date, in terms of indentation, it's just called cover-image :
Okay,
and then, you can put in that same image, but see if a URL works. Maybe just navigate, or if somebody else wants to find.
Maybe it's I just put cover.png.
My comment failed in the regular comments, so I'm going to put it in the private chat, but feel free to share this in the regular comments as well.
Mine also failed, my comment, when I sent it. This comment has failed to post on forensic cycle.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I have a setting that I need. What were you guys trying to comment on?
I was trying to send that comment that I just sent in the private chat. I found a page from Quarto that has a lot of basics for customization using like the Markdown script. So I was just sending that over.
Gotcha. Let me look. Maybe that's a setting I have for.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. Well, no, but I want you guys to be able to share like that. So,
Yeah, it's pretty helpful though because it like the page walks you through like text formatting, headings, links, lists, tables, pictures, equations, like all sorts of stuff.
Neat. Yeah, I mean, it kind of looks like we can do all the same stuff that we do with a general HTML or PDF Quarto document. So we should. Neat.
So this is the one I added
Okay.
on directly onto Quarto with the square brackets and everything.
Figure 1 potatoes.
Potatoes? Okay.
Yeah. So now let's try with what the other thing. What was it? So the thing here on the YAML. See if it looks any different, and like we remove it from here.
Yeah, and then the other thing, I think, if we can try putting a figure in and seeing if the cross references work across chapters. We could do annotation. We could do all the other stuff that we've been doing in these files. We could do those tip boxes and, do fenced divs to create columns or whatever we want to do. Should be functional here. But the cross references in particular. Why do you like PDFs so much, Diego? You're old school.
No, I can see any cover.
Oh, I didn't either. Maybe it'll render on the HTML version?
Yeah, try HTML.
Oh, wait, no, maybe you have to put it in quotes. Because it looks different than the other ones.
It could be.
Maybe not. Oh, okay, never mind. It likes it. I was gonna say R doesn't seem to like that, but then the red X would play.
You guys watching basketball?
Not really.
You're a basketball fan? Well, of course you are, because you did the machine learning on the competition that year.
Well, you did too. We both did. I'm still using that script to actually it was so yesterday. Maybe try as an HTML like Katrina said, Diego. I wonder if there's something specific about PDFs that it doesn't like. Anyway, the package that we were using to access data, the guy that maintains it just like abandoned it, and so I was using the same script, but when I called in this year, yeah, there it is. When I called in this year's, so you know what it is? It's just that the HTML cover page versus the PDF cover page are so differently formatted. I'm guessing that's it. Diego, can you try?
Yeah, but they looked nice for the like R for data analysis and Python for data analysis one. So I don't know why they're like it's not showing up for our PDF.
Okay. Well, if you guys want to problem solve that a little bit, we can.
We don't have to
That's
spend
fine.
too much time on it, but I was just curious.
It's up to you guys. The thing I would like to see is a code chunk with a Plotly object, like right there on line 10, Diego. If you could replace 1+1 with the script that I put in the comments.
Okay.
And then I think we can try to cross-reference that. And so I got to remember how to cross-reference. It's the @ symbol, and we need two things in the code. We need fig cap, and then we also need, I think we need a label. Oh, sorry, that came in kind of weird, didn't it?
Oh, we gotta call the plot something, Diego. Maybe like I think he had put it as D.
So that's why it was D. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was D.
And the fig also stays there?
Yeah, D's an object and fig's an object.
So D has to go on the next line though. Like D has to be the start of the next line. Yeah. There we go. That should work.
It's also on the next line.
And fig.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No.
We don't even need the D thing. But fig, Diego, after the square bracket on line 12.
After the square bracket, okay.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there used to be a space here.
Yeah.
I
Right.
gotcha. And then we have to call fig at the end to bring it
Yeah.
up. Yep. Okay.
There we go.
Hey, so pretty.
So see if that renders in the book, and then we'll add a fig cap, we'll add a label, and then we'll see if we can reference it in a different chapter. See if I remember. I'm so glad we're doing these Friday sessions, even if, even if we're not helping a lot of other people. It doesn't seem to capture the minds of the nation so much. But it's helping me just learn this stuff, and hopefully you guys too.
I'm enjoying it.
Good.
Yeah. Now we just need to remove the warnings.
Okay. Well, let's do a little hash pipe in that code, in that chunk then. So
I always go just. Oh no, it's not there. The settings. Where did the settings go? There's the engine sign, and you just do it automatically.
you probably need to be in the visual editor for that, I'm guessing. I don't use that.
No engine sign. We have to do it like the.
Yes, old school.
Like that. No, what was
I
it?
think it's pound sign and then vertical bar. Or if you're a Weezer fan, we call it hash pipe. So you should be able to do warning. The only difference here, Diego, to the old method is they use colons instead of equal sign. So warning colon and then lowercase false. Then echo false.
Oh, it already does it for me. That's good. I don't have to type it again.
And then the ones that we want for cross references are we need a label and we need a fig cap. I think we need both of them.
What we call the label?
Label has to be, we need the prefix. This is how we screwed up last time. So it needs to be fig dash and then whatever you want to call it. Potatoes, I guess. Why did that thing... Oh, no, the other thing was potatoes, wasn't it? And then we need fig cap, fig dash cap. And then this should be double quotes. So whatever you want to put within double quote or quotes, single quotes should work too. So see if that renders. I think the way we're gonna have to figure out the best way to efficiently use this book structure too. For little things like this on a single page, we can probably just use the render button for this single file. We don't need to incorporate everything. However, for things like cross references across chapters, we'll need to.
The book automatically renders for you as you click through the different chapters. So when you click a chapter, even if you didn't render it, but there was a change, it'll render again.
Huh. Okay, that's new. That's different. Different from the. Wow, I got mute just in time. Okay, so our object is there. It looks. Are we still getting warnings and stuff, Diego? What's going on there?
Yeah.
It's small, I can't see.
Still getting warnings.
Turn message off, I guess. Message is another one that sometimes.
I've got messages.
And then let's see if we can cross-reference that too. So it should just be at fig dash potato or whatever we called it. So outside of the chunk, just in the text of the body of the chapter, we should be able to put at fig dash potato, and it should hyperlink. So let's try one. Let's try one in the current chapter, and then let's try one in a different chapter because I want to verify that it.
I found a chunk that might help just turn off warnings and messages for the entire document. But yeah, you have to turn off both warnings and messages, I think, for it to work. Oh wait, it's not equal anymore. It's colons. All right, you'll have to change the equal signs to colons.
Yeah, I made a lot of that mistake when I was first porting over to Quarto. You can still write those commands within the curly brackets of your chunk specification also, and then the equal sign does work there, but it's not the way you're supposed to do it. We're supposed to use the Weezer hash pipe.
It doesn't like thick potatoes.
It doesn't like fig potatoes. Make sure it's spelled the same, and then let me look and make sure it was an @ sign. Maybe no, it should be right.
Do they need to do it though with quotation marks?
Oh, you don't want the quote. You don't want the double quotes on the label specification. You want
we tried it without, so he was wondering if maybe it would work with.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to use the @ sign?
I'm already using the @ sign.
No, I meant like up top, maybe.
Well, wait.
Do you actually, no, I don't know if that makes sense.
Do you have potatoes in the chunk, and outside the chunk it just says potato? Did I see that right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
But then here I have potatoes.
What?
And it doesn't work either. Now, here in the appendix, I have potatoes.
I'm getting hungry for hash browns. So many potatoes.
Talking about hash pipes, potatoes, now we're talking about hash browns.
Yeah. Can you try to build the book, Diego?
No, doesn't like the hashtag here.
Doctor.
Sorry, Katrina, what was
You're
you about
good.
to say? Yeah, okay.
If you have time, either today or like Monday or over the weekend, we should probably look at the book.
Okay, the one that you created?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Right after this, I gotta take off and meet some friends.
No worries.
But
we can meet early next week too, or whenever.
okay, yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna keep working on it in the meantime.
Okay, just send out a Zoom, or if you want to send. You haven't hosted that yet, right? Did you? Are you doing that on GitHub, or is it just locally?
Not right now. I'm only working locally. I should have set it up on GitHub, but I didn't think about it in the moment.
Yeah, gotcha. That's fine. But let's port it over to GitHub, and then I can access
Agreed.
it too.
Yeah, I'll do that over the weekend.
Okay. So we're still not seeing anything, Diego?
No, I think maybe because we have to have the library in a different chunk. Because it's like reading it like separately, it has the chunk here where it creates the plot down here. Then the one with the library is up here. So maybe that's why this is not working.
Okay. The other thing, the other quirk that we've seen in the past with these things is the ordering of the commands within the chunk sometimes make a difference. So you can try putting the label in FigCap as the first chunk commands rather than underneath warning and message and so on and so forth.
What I just found online said to do this for cross references. This is out of the Quarto doc I've been looking at for help. Sorry, you know, I'll send that line by line. That way it's less confusing. So here's the first line of that. Ignore the elephant part. They were using an elephant figure as the example. Here's the second line. So that's how they say to put the figure in, and then how you can reference it. So
Did we try order? Did we try changing the order, Diego, of those chunk commands?
The order. Which order?
Take warning and echo, and move them. No, in the chunk below. Warning and echo, and move them below the label and fig cap. Again, that was kind of one of the old quirks. I'm not going to cross my fingers too hard on that.
I think maybe if we changed the label from fig potatoes to just potatoes, then it would work. Because it looks like your label for the figure shouldn't have like fig dash in the label.
Shouldn't have like a special symbol.
No, like above where you have label fig potatoes. That's where I think the. No, actually, wait, hang on. So from what I sent, it says, so we have the elephant.png, so the figure is called elephant. But then when they say, you know, you can call it forward, they use a pound sign and then fig dash elephant. Or a hashtag then fig dash element.
You can also try taking the double quotes off of the fig cap.
Double quotes off of the fig cap. Okay.
Maybe put a hashtag in front of the label. Oh no, in front of fig. Yeah.
I tried that before and it gave me like a fail to compile.
The hashtag?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That.
I am gonna post another little bit of script here that is very basic and should work. And then if that doesn't work, then we know. I guess I don't know what we know if it doesn't work.
Yeah, it says for figures produced by executable code cells include a label with fig dash prefix to make them cross-referenceable. So it looks like we're doing the right thing. I just don't know why it's not working.
It's odd. I wonder if maybe it's something to do with the plotly object itself. Diego, so there's a more basic plot here that I put in the chat. Can we paste that in? If you just do a Control Alt, if you just select all on that, we should be able to paste it in as a separate chunk. And then below that chunk, there's a call out. And if that one works, then to me that means it's something specific about plotly objects. Because there are, when we did the cross references, there were about 20 different built-in types of objects that you can reference, and it's possible that, so when we tried to force references, so for example we tried to call a table a figure or a figure a table, and it didn't like that at all. So it's possible that the plotly object is not recognized as a traditional figure. And
so yeah, you forgot to put plot cars on its own line.
Does anything look different in those? Does anything look different in that hash pipe sequence from the new chunk to the old chunk, Diego?
No. Label fig cap. Okay, let's see now if it works.
Had a lot of Doctor Strange moments today.
Well, yeah, there we go. It worked.
Okay. Oh, that's good to know, though. So it looks like plotly objects. We'll have to figure out a different method, a different prefix for those is what it has to actually be. Let me look up the type of prefixes quickly. Diego, as long as we have that, can you put the reference to that plot in a different chapter just so we can see if it works? Yep. Cool.
The appendix.
Something neat I've noticed with I don't know if you could do this with book down as well, but probably. But you can create like the hyperlinks for quotes, but then you can also, I mean, for links like anyway, you can create hyperlinks, but you can also create links to maybe additional materials in the side, like the right hand side.
Oh, okay. Like stuff we put in the margins?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
You can put other stuff in the margins too, but that's all I've been putting in the margins so far.
I'm really curious to see what you have. I want to put some interactive elements in there, so I think we just start with probably something like a plotly object, and then we see if we can ramp it up to fully interactive, shiny stuff.
Yeah,
and then
I could show you in the last couple minutes today what I got, but I don't have anything that interactive in there yet. Sorry, what were you saying?
I don't. Nothing. Nothing important.
There we go. We have the figure there.
Cool. So it's recognizing that figure from a different chapter, and it's also giving us the preview upon hover. Yeah?
Yep.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, we're going to have to figure out what the prefix is for a plotly object. And it may just
I'm not
be...
sure.
Yeah, I don't know either. It may be the way that we're calling it up with a fig, because the object itself is called fig. So if we just... Actually, Diego, before we end this session, can you go back to that chunk and let's rename, instead of calling it fig on line 29 and 31.
I just saw
just
something...
take off.
Oh,
don't make it an object. Just take out fig entirely, and let's just call up the plotly in that chunk and see if that works. Sorry, go ahead, Katrina.
No, sorry, I don't always have the stream up, so it's hard to tell everything's stuck. Anyway, I just looked it up, and on GitHub there's a question that's how do I get my plotly to render correctly in a Quarto document? So it seems to be having issues generally with plotly.
Ooh, okay, good to know. Yeah, I'm so geeked out about using R to do all this authoring stuff. That is one drawback, is that there are bugs occasionally in different versions. Different versions have their own little quirks. Still nothing?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to problem solve that one. And then maybe, if it's a simple solution, maybe we'll bring it up next week. If it's...
And then shiny apps and dashboards work, but plotly doesn't.
Well, I get... Well, we didn't try cross-referencing a shiny app.
Oh.
Because the plotly object works, it's just the reference to it that we didn't get to work. I'm guessing it's just a prefix. So
that would be wild if that was the case. Just plotly.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Katrina, do you want to show quickly what you've got? And then Diego, we can spend maybe a little bit. We're kind of running up against the time that we usually call it quits, but...
I mean, I got nowhere to be after this.
Okay. Diego looks like he's at work again. He's in the research lab.
Yeah, I'm on Dexter lab. And Jacob drank used all the coffee cups. Damn him.
What? So you don't have any coffee?
I do, but I don't have where to pour it. Next time I have to bring my own, my own canteen. That's how you
Oh.
No.
Weird. I think it's thinking. I don't know which screen it thinks is
Oh, sorry.
is my screen. Okay, let's see if that works. I wonder what screen you're seeing. I think you're seeing. Oh, I don't want to move that one. I think the screen you're seeing is my third one, so let me move things over.
We're
See Lord of the
seeing
Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, just the background. How about now?
Those are cool images. I don't think. Yeah, that looks like a book. That looks like
Cool,
content
cool. Okay.
specific to what we were talking about.
Yeah, you were on my third screen. Okay, cool. So all I did was I put in some info like what is Quarto, here's what our integration kind of looks like, how it works with like the table of contents integration. Because I figure if they're looking at this for the prospect of a grant, they'll want to know what integration looks like.
That looks great. I mean, yeah, we just wanted to show them kind of
And
What-
then I'm explaining the different links and how those work.
perfect. Yeah, I think we're on the same page with this. We're just thinking about how to highlight some of the capabilities. I think we probably put some callouts in there, like the little warning or note callouts, and then probably a plotly graph, and then maybe if we want to get really fancy, we try to put a shiny app. in
Yeah.
there.
Why not? What I would like to do is I know that in the other books, when you hover over a section, it like shows the chapters in that section. I would like it to do that similar to how it's doing that here.
Have you installed the latest Quarto on that computer, Quarto 1.4?
I don't know which version I have, but I think I have that version. I'm not sure.
Okay. Because that was a feature that the new version 1.4 just enabled. So if you don't
Okay.
have that, if you haven't installed Quarto within the last month and a half or so, then you don't have 1.4.
Not sure. I'll have to look.
Okay. Because it might, yeah. Because if that's the case, it's nothing you have to do. It's just
Right. I did include like some examples. So like if we're talking about z-scores, here's what z-score is. Let's practice in R. Here's an example.
wow. You put a lot of work into that. Okay, that's
and
great.
then I did that one more time for CFA.
Sweet. In those code chunks, we should use the annotation option because that is another layer of interactivity. What I'm thinking is, and by the way, if anyone's watching this,
it's 50
Katrina and I are we're actually submitting a grant application to author a free book focused on measurement, and so part of that application, since this is a little different, and Diego apparently reviewed our application. Thanks, Diego, for that. But as part of our application, we wanted to demonstrate some of the capabilities of using Quarto and R, particularly to do the authoring of this. And so I think the more interactive elements that we show them, first of all, they're probably not going to click the link and look at it anyway. They're probably just going to say,
Oh, there's links here. Yeah.
yeah, hopefully they do. Hopefully we get some conscientious reviewers. But the more interactive stuff we can put in there, I think the better. So in those code chunks,
Agreed.
we can do those little annotations, and we can change whether you need to click on them or whether
Yep.
it just pops up on hover.
I think that's a good idea. I mean, I was putting in notes, and that worked fine for the Z-score one because it's short, but for this one, it's like it's still a lot to look at.
Oh yeah. And Katrina told me that you're gonna do it kind of like data camp, where you can actually do code in the book,
We're gonna try.
or R code, without having to download R. Really?
Yeah, well, that's kind of something we've been thinking about, and so we have to make sure that there's package support for that, and so I think it's called Live R. There's a couple of different packages that we can check out. There used to be one called LearnR, I think, that did that. Live R. Somebody gave a presentation on that at one of the recent Posit conferences, and that has support for, or WebR. I think it's called WebR. So that currently supports basic functions, but it doesn't. Once you start using packages and once you start trying to get a little more fancy or elaborate or detailed with your code, it doesn't work. So it's not a full R implementation. It's like a partial R implementation. So we could do some of it, I know, but I'm guessing that those packages are going to evolve and get better and better and better too. Okay,
Really
cool.
quick, since it's not something we showed yet in the stream, if you want to include links over in the margins, here's how you would do it.
Katrina has the Matrix appearance on her R Studio.
I do, and I don't even change it when I teach R in class. So I have to look at the Matrix.
I used to have it, but it gave me a headache. So much shiny green.
Nope.
It reminds me of when I was a kid. That's what a computer monitor looked like. So it makes me feel like I'm about to die of dysentery because all we did on there was play Oregon Trail, and you'd always die of dysentery.
No, I love it. I think it's great.
As long as you like it. Diego and I aren't fans.
Well, I used it to make a custom Matrix screensaver. However, it does end up crashing your R.
Oh yeah, you showed me that, the Matrix screen.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's pretty fancy.
Diego, do you want to show your stuff?
Sure.
Okay, I'll stop sharing.
What am I sharing? My novel?
Well, either that or we can recap where we're at with the dissertation format. And you already kind of showed a little bit of a preview of what the front matter looks like, but we were gonna try to make a little more progress on that. We can do that on Wednesday again. I'm gonna eventually have to slice these up and hopefully make a tutorial. I've been trying to do that with the dashboards that we did, but we did it over 4 weeks, so it's taking a little longer. But I will snip that and put it up eventually.
What have you been using for your editing?
It's called. It crashes all the time, so I hate it. But let me look. See what it's called. There's OpenShot video editor. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not a. What should I use, Katrina?
Well, so if you still have any access to your Montclair stuff, they have something called Panopto, and that's pretty easy to use. But I think I was recently, like, one of the things I bought gave me like a free subscription to like the Adobe Creative Suite, like a free trial thing. Let me see if I still have that, and if I do, I'll send you the code for it, because then you can use that video editor for probably at least 3 months.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I'll check it out. I'm kind of in this weird spot with when I was in my grad school and fresh out of grad school, I was trying to learn as many different platforms as I could. So, for example, I've told you guys this before, but before R, primarily R, you had to, if you wanted to do Roche analyses, you needed specialized software. If you wanted to do item response theory, you needed WinGen. Yeah, it was hilarious because Diego was working on a project, and he came to me. It was when we were in our lab, and he showed me, and it was old. It was like WinGen script, and I had old script.
Is this when we were taking that database systems course?
No, it was when I was working for Brandon.
All right.
He wanted to do, like I just mentioned casually, the idea of using IRT. And then he bought this WinGen software that's really old. And yeah, we were doing IRT with that.
So he's like, have you ever? And actually, it was WinSteps. So WinGen is the program that we use, Diego, to simulate data, test data.
I still have that. So let me show it to you.
So he yells across the lab at me. It's probably still during COVID.
Here it is.
He's like, "Have you ever heard of this?" Yeah, that's WinSteps. And I'm like, "Yeah, I got old." So I shot him some old script that I had. And
Yeah, from IP.
Isn't WinSteps from the 80s?
90s. Just like every other good thing, it's from the 90s. But yeah, I mean, you used to have to know all this specialized software, and like, I knew all these different platforms, and I think, not that many people were literate in 7, 8, 9 different software platforms. This is all a long way of saying with the Adobe thing, I think I've now come to the point in life where I'm trying to get really good at a few things as opposed to being exposed to multiple things. But I will take a look at Adobe because the OpenShot does, it does annoy me with how frequently it crashes.
I can't believe. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Nah, it wasn't really adding much. I was just going to say I'll be working on something and make good progress, and then boop, it just goes away.
I'm not adding much either. I can't believe when we took that database systems course, Diego and I were like, had to use PHP and we had to use Cyan to like interact with SQL and just some really old stuff no one uses.
Oh yeah, that was a bad course. I tell everyone not to take it, to take the other guy. There's this other guy that uses Python that knows.
Oh, is there really?
Yeah.
Oh,
tell them to take that.
Yeah,
that was rough.
Advancements advancements can pass by professors pretty quickly because we have our old standard favorite things that we use. One of the kind of big names in item response theory still uses his old command prompt MS-DOS based specialized programs. So I used to know those as well, but he still uses those.
Oh wow, command prompts, like.
Yeah. Well, he created them in grad school. He went to grad school at the University of Illinois, and Fritz Drasgow was kind of a big name in IRT, and he was a professor there. And his lab and his students all created all kinds of specialized software to do specific things. And they made them, the internet was there, but the computer program that was receptive to all these different types of procedures wasn't there yet. R wasn't there yet. So they made all these programs available. I, of course, went out and grabbed them and used them. And then once R became a thing, these, like WinSteps, you don't need WinSteps anymore. You also didn't need the specialized command prompt MS-DOS interface specialized programs. But one of the students, who's now a very well-known professor, he still uses those programs. That it makes sense. He wrote them, but he wrote them in the 90s. So, and his students still learn them because I spoke with some of his students. So your experience with the old school 90s technology, it's not just unique to you. Anyway, I'm right.
No, yeah,
so Diego, this looks good.
Yeah, no, this looks awesome. Where were you when I was doing my dissertation last year, Diego? Where was this?
I don't know. I was just going to your house and getting drunk.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah, so the next thing is we still haven't figured this out. So we have to figure out how to create fields within probably the YAML of this document. So for example, on lines 2 through 11 there, in red or orange or peach or whatever you want to call that color, in a reputable color scheme as opposed to as opposed to the matrix. So the salmon color, I guess, is probably what that is. We want to create those and then be able to call them out later in the document. And so that's the thing. That's the part that we're kind of stuck on right now.
I know who I am, and I'm not ashamed.
You're Trinity.
And the hacky way we're using is just creating parameters for now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so if anyone watches this and you know how to create fields in the YAML of a Markdown document, or Quarto, it's going to probably be the same, so that we can later use them and pull from those fields later in the document. So for example, if we put the title of Diego's masterpiece in the YAML, we should just be able to reference title later in the document, and so he doesn't have to retype it every time.
Yeah, like this here. This just creates the title, and I don't write the title. I just call the parameter title up here. So it will be the same thing,
Gotcha.
but being parameters.
If you want, we can work on it together when you're here for PSYOP.
Yeah,
Or just meet up on a weekend.
I would be up for that.
Party at my house.
Yeah, this does seem like a major learning part, or a major learning point. It's one of those things that it's going to take us a while to figure it out, but I think once we figure it out, it'll make everything a lot more flexible moving forward. But it doesn't seem like it's a quick. It doesn't seem like it's a quick learn, because we've been talking about this now for a couple of weeks. So it's something that it's going to take some more noodling. I got a friend who talks about noodling. Is that unique to my friend? Have you guys heard that?
Yeah, I mean,
noodling. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just a Davism, but
Davism. And then the table of content also. It's a bit of a headache because I'm not sure how to call. I create a different RMD, unless we just keep everything in the same file. But then people would have to come here in this file and add their text. And when ideally they would just create, it would be another RMD, and that's where they put, the introduction, methods, all the different sections. And then here we just call it, and they just
gotcha.
They just knit this, and it produces everything.
Yeah, we were hoping that we might be able to come up with a system that other people can take and adopt a little more easily at their institution, and because Diego is going to actually defend within a month or so, we may be coming to the point where that double goal of getting Diego's dissertation formatted and also having a system that other people can take and apply and use, we may have to drop that second one and just get Diego's dissertation formatted.
Well, you could always make that secondary goal like a goal after doing the dissertation.
Yeah, after my defense. My defense is on April 23 or 22. I'm still waiting for Dr. Askew to tell us. But after that, yeah.
Don't forget to invite me and your other friends, Diego. Don't forget to invite us.
Yeah, for sure.
You said April 22nd or 23rd, maybe?
Yeah. Unless Dr. Ski answers.
Okay. If it's the 22nd, it depends on what time it is, whether or not I'll be able to make it. If it's the 23rd, I can make it.
Yeah, it's good to have a little support.
Yeah, I teach on Mondays. So I could just make my class watch your dissertation, but it's always an option.
Are they grad students?
No.
And imagine they start asking like really tough questions like how can you get their square and this cross-validated, blah, blah, blah.
Why did you wear a polka dot tie with a plaid shirt? That's what they'll ask.
It is my stats class, though, so I mean, it's not like it's off topic.
Well,
at least too off topic.
It's a little more relevant. All right, I got to get going. Thanks, you guys. Sorry, Diego, we didn't get to spend more time on the dissertation. We keep keep kind of pushing that thing off, but that's okay. We're making progress on Wednesdays. So
Yeah, it's fine.
okay, you guys have a good weekend.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.